Good afternoon. Today we have a very special guest, Ambassador Nihal Rodrigo. Nihal Rodrigo has been the former Foreign Secretary of Sri Lanka as well as SAARC Secretary General, and also a lot of other assignments in South Asia in different capacities. So welcome, Ambassador Rodrigo. Now, since you have been a South Asian expert in South Asia and as well as outside South Asia, I want to discuss with you today about strategic implication of South Asian economical integration. Now, tell me, are you happy about current economical integration in South Asia? What is your assessment on that?
No, I'm not happy about the integration of South Asia in economic terms, because I spent also 3 years as Secretary General where we tried to make it out. But certainly we have taken a few initial steps, but a lot has to be done. One major thing is that economic integration requires first the political aspects, which means the governments must agree that they must cooperate with each other. And secondly, the corporate sector must also understand that there is benefits of both sides. Sometimes even for a small country like Sri Lanka and a big country like India, or even say a country like China, because you have different approaches. Say Sri Lankan tourism can help, and there we can cooperate with India. But on certain other aspects, the inequalities among countries in the region and their bilateral difficulties can sometimes delay this process of economic integration.
Ambassador Rodrigo, nowadays everybody is talking about economic integration, especially India has now focused more towards economic integration in a positive way. But now I want to ask you, as you have been in this business for so many years, what are the opportunities available? Is there really something called South Asian viability of economy?
Yes, there is. As I said, there are the bilateral issues now. For example, difficulties in determination of borders means that some article that leaves from country, I won't mention a name, say country A to country C or D, has to pass through B and C. And if each of those borders, there is an additional customs duty even to pass through, by the time the item reaches country D, its value has increased by enormous amount. So that now what is happening is in South Asia, they are trying to work out with the help of the ADB also to see whether certain items can pass through even in a difficult border without having to stop. Okay. Sometimes they have to unload the entire baggage, wait for a car or a bus or whatever it is to come from the other country and pick it up, which means delay. Then in the case of some items, it's impossible to keep food items and so on. It's only manufactured items. Then again, there's a question of storage, insurance, all those things are there. Then within countries, particularly a large country like India, there is also different regulations in different states of India. And one of our very well-known biscuit manufacturers in Sri Lanka wanted to actually build a factory in India, because Indians like this business very much. But it's only after he had spent some money that he discovered there were different rules in the state of Chaminda as against the Indian government. He would import the thing to Mumbai, and then if he was going to take it to Chennai again, when he crosses the border, he has to pay more. So those things have to be implemented. And of course, that is, I think, developing now. Because as you know, Pakistan, which did not give most favored nation to India, and the last summit in Abu Dhabi, they agreed on that. And also India has reduced the number of items on which they don't give security bound protected items and so on. Those also have been reduced quite a lot. So those will help take time.
But now, say for example, let's say we can have a strategically created or economically integrated South Asia. But what are the security and related issues which we face to have integrated South Asia?
Well, on the security aspect, of course, if your border problems are settled and your bilateral issues have been settled, then you still have the problems like, for example, you look at the Indian Ocean region as such. You have things like people smuggling, gun running, drug trafficking, all those things where these people are, some of them are former LTTs, some of them are just nationals who are now trying to make profit on this business. For example, people smuggling. From Sri Lanka, some people from Pakistan as well as India get into those boats and try to smuggle themselves to Australia.
Hub.
Because our central location is one of the major factors for the bad aspects of movements.
Okay, so that's actually coming to my final question now. Now, positively, what is the role Sri Lanka can play in integrated South Asia, economically integrated South Asia?
Well, that again, it depends on sort of how the bilateral relations that Sri Lanka has with each country.
Right.
But little by little, I think it is developing fairly well. Because now I think relations with India have been fairly cordial, except of course in the last few months in April when they voted on a resolution which was not favorable to Sri Lanka's peace process. But one made some effort to make it a little easier so that any action that comes out of that resolution will need the full agreement of Sri Lanka before they do it. So to that extent he has modified it. But that was, I think, to some extent a backward step.
Right.
Maybe it took about 5 steps back and came 1 step forward with this amendment. So those are the things that are essential to sort of deal with to really have a very good integrated one. Sri Lanka's role as a neutral country in South Asia.
But do you think now, when I talk to a lot of my Pakistani and Indian colleagues, sometimes I have a feeling like this economic integration is more among big countries. So don't you think that Sri Lanka is in a disadvantage position as a smaller country?
Up to a point, yes, but when you say integration also, it doesn't mean that you sort of link up altogether.
Right.
Now, for example, in terms of something like items like tea, which are a specialty of Sri Lanka. Now, although India also has tea estates and there's a particular brand of tea,
Right.
whereas this tea can get through. Similarly, even biscuits. And I mentioned this one case of this Mr. Krimasinga's Manchi line and so on. India has biscuits, but these have a specialty which are more popular. So that way, Sri Lanka has a certain degree of excellence, despite its smallness, and even for tourism, that we can get people to come from other countries. Even a country like China, they are sending tourists to Sri Lanka. Japan is sending tourists. So the smallness really doesn't matter.
So you are saying everybody can get their share
Yeah,
of
you have to sort of discuss it and see what is your benefit, what is my benefit, and if that can be mutually understood and arranged, then there's no problem.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ambassador.
okay.